Okay, so now doing some exercises without the ball. So if you don't want to use the ball or you don't have access to one, you could do a lot of the same stretches without it, just moving your own body. So we'll start off with doing the cat and cow stretch, which is like doing that posterior and anterior pelvic tilt sitting on the ball. So you can get yourself into hands and knees position here, knees directly under hips, wrists directly underneath your shoulders. And in this position, you're going to let your belly sag towards the floor. Your butt should kind of go up towards the ceiling like you're untucking your tail, and your head will lift up. And I like to inhale during this part. And then exhale and let your back start to round up towards the ceiling, and your head will drop down. You want to make sure that a lot of this motion is happening from the pelvis doing the motion and not necessarily just like your neck and upper back. You want to think about starting the motion with your sacrum and your tailbone leading the way. So if I'm going to let the belly sag down into the cow position, I'm going to start by letting my tailbone start to go up towards the ceiling and slowly work my way up the spine until my head comes up. And then as I'm going into the cat position, I'm going to start by untucking my tail, rounding it down, and slowly working my way up the spine till my head drops. So thinking about it going nice and slow and controlled, leading with the tailbone first, is a nice way to try to get some good mobility. So again, you're going to be inhaling as you go into the cow, exhaling as you go through the cat. Now, you can also do some of those side to side movements. I call this like a tail wag, like your dog and you're super happy wagging your tail back and forth, just like we did sitting on the ball going side to side. This is a nice position here because you get a little more freedom that if you wanted to do some tail wags into the cow position, you can get into cow and do some tail wags, or you can get yourself into cat and do some tail wags, or alternate between the two. And you can get a lot more motion in this position than you can sitting on the ball. To play with it a little bit, see where it feels more comfortable, what feels tight. Maybe those are the areas you want to focus on a little bit more. Now you can also do those pelvic circles here too. It's a little bit trickier, but it can still be done. So you just start by going one direction, do your side motion, come around like you're trying to do a hula hoop, essentially on hands and knees. And then you can go both directions. You're really trying to open up and allow motion to happen through all different planes of movement. Now in this position, you can also just do some child's pose as well without the ball. So again, feet underneath you together, knees nice and wide towards the outsides of your mat. And then you can either just stay here. If you've got a bigger belly and you can't quite get down, you could just support yourself up a little higher with your arms staying straight here. Work on your deep breathing. Again, as you take that deep breath in through your nose, you should feel your pelvic floor drop towards the floor. And as you exhale through pursed lips, it should lift up. Inhale, exhale. And you can just practice here, getting a nice stretch. Or if you can get a little bit lower, maybe go down to your elbows and see if you can do a little bit of breathing and stretching in that position. See how comfortable that is. Now, you could also get yourself and do a little bit more specific stretching to your inner thigh muscles in this position. So you can get yourself with your knees nice and wide and just let them kind of slide apart. And either you can stay up on your hands here and just feel that stretch in the inner thigh and how it comes up into the groin. And again, that attachment to the front of the pelvic floor with those inner thigh muscles. And you could just stretch here if you'd like, if it's comfortable. If you've got a lot of pubic pain, then you just want to be extra careful with this stretch in particular. And you can play around with it. So you can come down a little bit and come back up. Sometimes the motion can be a little bit more comfortable than a static hold. And you can play with it, whatever feels comfortable to you.